Bill Plaschke LeBron James' inaugural Lakers season ends as a complete bust. Instead, LeBron James' first season with the Lakers ended in a statement. After. So that's that. It's over. LeBron James' first season as a Laker has been a complete bust. The decision to shut him down, while completely understandable, serves as the perfect punctuation mark on a massive disappointment. James could be It's official now, the final curtain falling on what might be the most disillusioning individual season in Los Angeles sports history. Think about when James signed here in July, a certain sucker columnist was breathless in anticipation. 4. That landscape has been rattled, alright, with the outlandish realization that maybe the Lakers would have been better without James. With a 34th, and the King still hasn't shown up. There were far more words in Saturday's closing statement than exciting moments provided on the court by a guy who was supposed to entertain and connect and lead, yet did little of any of that. What great moments do you remember? Do you remember any? Let's see, there was his 44 points against Portland, his 51 points in Miami, his post-game hug with Dwayne Wade, his activated game against Houston, his late three-pointer against New Orleans. Does that about cover? The list of James' missteps is much longer, and starts from the beginning. There was his failure to hold an introductory news conference upon his signing in Los Angeles, a missed opportunity to begin building the bond with fans. Instead, once the season started, there was his constantly bad body language that told the world of his frustration with his younger teammates. The slumped shoulder. Then there was his defense, which was glaring in its invisibility, so much that entire videos have been compiled of times when James simply stood there and watched a dude drive past him. The individual images are just as striking. There was the time he once threw an inbounds pass off the back of a backboard. He let another inbound. Equally as troubling was his behind-the-scenes plotting, which caused a locker room rift that could not be repaired. In essence, it was pretty awful, and, to be sure, James was far from alone in causing the mess. Much blame for the season certainly goes to Johnson and Pelinka, who, immediately after acquiring James, signed a nutty and mismatched veteran cast that made James' job much tougher than in previous years in Cleveland and Miami. And to be fair, James' final averages of 27.4 points, 8.5 rebounds and 7.4 assists were either at or above his career numbers. He had the stats. He showed up for them, but as a Laker, he was never completely invested. To many, while responsibility for this nightmare begins with owner Jeannie Buss and trickles down through the entire organization, the brunt of it is on James. If they had made the play, what happens now? Veteran James, that's a lot of questions surrounding a guy who was supposed to be the answer. See 2019 The Los Angeles Times. Visit the Los Angeles Times at www.lateams.com. Distributed by Tribune Content Agency, LLC. Related slideshow 2018-19 NBA season provided by Iman.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.